Welcome, welcome. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you taking time away from working in your business, serving your clients, doing everything to remain operational, continuing to be on your growth path, joining us today to work on your business, getting that one insight that's going to make the difference, be able to take one action step from our time together today that you can immediately implement to raise the quality of services that you offer your clients, as well as raise the bar of who you're working with. So today's topic is attract quality clients to your firm, grow your dream firm without spending a ton of money. Okay, pain to potential. And I'm not talking about your pain to potential. I'm talking about your clients. You want to really tap into what is it that's keeping them up at night? What's top of their mind? Where are their frustrations? That's one end of the spectrum, as well as the other end of the spectrum. What are their aspirations? What gives them joy? What is it that would be an amazing milestone that if they were able to achieve that with your assistance, that would be very, very meaningful and high value to them. So you want to know the whole gamut of your clients, from what's keeping them up at night to the things that give them joy. If you find that when you are looking to get out there, you have a hard time differentiating yourself, you blend in rather than stand out, which means that clients can't determine why they ought to work with you and your firm instead of moving on to some other option. And because that you have to remain price competitive, then you are absolutely in the right place. Steve, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Lauren, I'd love to. So hi, my name is Steve Fogelman. I'm going to be your co-host. I'll be working the chat and also any questions that you have. Lauren and I had the same last name. We've been working together for quite a while, married for quite a while also. And I am a therapist turned business coach and get the opportunity to work with my lovely wife, Lauren. And Lauren, it's back to you.
Excellent. Thank you. A little bit about me, if this is the first time that we are meeting, is I'm a sports psychologist turned business coach. What I have found is that there are certain things that I learned through my education which helped me to do what I do really, really well. But also it prepared me to be an employee instead of a business owner or employer, because there were three gaps. The very first one was how to be able to have the right words so that people want to know more about what I do. It captures their attention to want to have a further conversation. The second thing is how to be able to price my services when I didn't want to trade dollars for hours. And number three was how to be able to enroll clients when I didn't want to be salesy, pressuring someone into working with me. And that is true for the accounting professionals that I work closely with. Is they need to understand how to network and communicate their value, how to be able to separate their fees from time in order to earn more without feeling like a slave to their business, and how to be able to engage quality clients without having to pitch or pressure them because they don't want to be salesy. As you can see from as you can see from 2018 to 2022, I have been named as one of the top business coaches by HubSpot, and that is my #1 Amazon bestseller, The Success Solution. Okay, say that it is a lovely Sunday and you are going for a drive in the country, and you're driving, passing all these different dairy farms, and you're seeing the brown cows and you're seeing the black cows, and then all of a sudden you see a purple cow. You do a double take. You back up your car, you pull over to the side of the road, you get out with your phone, and you are taking a selfie with that purple cow. You're putting it up on social media. It is going viral because who's ever seen a purple cow before? And that is something that grabs attention. Well, that is exactly the mindset that you want to have with getting out there and communicating what differentiates you from your firm. You want to actually stand out. You don't want to be a brown cow. You don't want to be a black cow. You want to be that purple cow that stands out instead of blends in. What we're going to cover today is fixing your message, grabbing attention, and then attracting quality clients. I will absolutely give you as much as I possibly can in our short period of time today. And if you're interested for talking further, knowing more, I will show you how to do that as we wrap up.
Well, Lauren, what are the steps to increase income without working additional hours? Because I think that's probably the majority of why people are showing up today.
Well, this is right from what I do with my clients, my group programs, my private coaching. I call it the Raise Your Rates formula. And it's a series of 5 steps. And if you're able to implement them, even from me giving you an overview of them today, you will begin to see a difference in the quality clients that you're working with, putting you squarely on the path to your dream firm. So number 1 is high value clients, because as you know, in the beginning, you're working with a big range of clients from low value to high value. And some of the clients make you smile when they come in the door. Other clients make you smile when they go out the door. So I want you to have tons of clients that make you smile when they come in the door. So that is really understanding the high value client. And once you understand who that is, then we go into number 2, which is what we're taking a deep dive into today, which is communicating your value. Having the words so that once again, you stand out. You are that purple cow as opposed to the brown cow where you're blending in and they can't differentiate why they ought to work with you instead of someone else. So we want you to have those right words in order to grab attention and stand out with quality clients. That goes right into number 3. Number 3 is packaging your services. Instead of on your website having that long laundry list of a la carte services that you can do for your clients, and they're really important services, but probably 75% of them, your clients don't even know what they mean, even though they can benefit from them. What we want to do is package your services into bundles, and that each of them serve a particular type of client and also achieve a very specific outcome. This starts to separate your fees from time. And that goes right into number 4, the Raise Your Rates formula, which is value pricing. When you are value pricing, it's not about your time, your cost, and maybe a little bit of profit margin. It is about pricing the client and the value to them instead of what is of value to you. When you do that, you can potentially earn 2 to 3 times more than what you're currently charging. And then number 5 is consultation mastery. This is where you're having conversations with either potential clients during your free initial consultation, or you're meeting with your current clients because you want to go ahead and get them into one of your packages and raising your rates. And you're having a conversation that really has them see the value of working with you, investing with you, moving forward with you. And as a result of that, at the end of the conversation, they ask, how do we get started? So you don't have to pitch, you don't have to sell, you don't have to talk about yourself the whole meeting and convince them to work with you. By having consultation mastery, having that value conversation, they naturally want to know what the next steps are. Anyway, those are the 5 steps of the Raise Your Rates formula, which is high value clients, communicate your value, package your services, value pricing, and consultation mastery.
That's great, Lauren. I love that formula. So we're going to be transitioning into our next topic, which is going to be fixing your message. However, before we do that, we have our first poll question. So do you have an ideal client? I work with everyone. I serve several industries. I've defined my niche. Once again, do you have an ideal client? I work with everyone. I serve several industries. I've defined my niche. And this is a good time, if you do have any questions, to get those questions over to me so I can get them over to Lauren. So when we're doing our poll and you have a little bit of time, go ahead and shoot questions to us, and I'll be sure to get those over to Lauren so that she can answer those questions. And Lauren, I think we're just about, we're just about ready.
Okay, great. I'm going to go ahead and count down. So 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Okay,
So
Steve, go for it.
Do you have an ideal client? I work with everyone is 27%. I serve several industries is 47%. I've defined my niche is 27%. Wow, that's great.
Perfect.
Nice. So let's talk about that number 1 messaging mistake that you were kind of alluding to.
Well, this is like the elephant in the room. You tell me that you want to work with high quality, high value clients, but your messaging attracts the price sensitive one. So that is really the number one marketing mistake, is that you're focusing or saying things that appeal to those price sensitive clients, but you really want to work with those quality clients who are not as price sensitive. And some of the things, and I'm just jumping in, Steve. So some of the things that happen, and I regularly look at websites for accounting professionals or pro advisor profiles. And here's some of the things that I see that attract clients, but sometimes the wrong type of client. We provide affordable solutions. Well, that is like a red light capturing the attention of those price sensitive clients who want to get as much from you as possible and pay as little as possible. So it's like they want to get champagne service at their prices. And anybody is welcome to steal that from me, because I probably stole it from somebody else. So that is the very first thing, is having on your website that you provide affordable solutions. It attracts those price sensitive clients. The next thing is we help you run your book smarter. Well, if you're an accounting professional, then that is obvious. But what happens here is now you position yourself as a technician who's doing just the compliance side of it, as opposed to having the expertise and being seen as a consultant that really helps them to get the best results possible, because of the fact that their financials and their taxes are getting your eyes on it. So if you want to be seen as someone who just does the technical side, compliance, it means that you're going to remain price competitive. Whereas when they see you as that expert, then that is something that has higher value. Get free year-round tax advice. Now, that is on a lot of tax websites, because you give away so much tax advice and strategy for free and never, ever charge for it. Your clients have access to you year-round to pick your brain. And that's because you might not know how to charge for it. But one of the things to realize from clients, especially the ones that are those quality clients that you want to work more with, your highest value is what you know, not what you do. And because of that, this particular firm is giving away the highest value for free, because they don't realize that that is of high value to great clients and that they can actually charge for that. This next one is we do AP, AR, HR, and payroll. Well, when you do that, this is a lot of industry language, the AP, AR, HR, because they might need those services, but they don't always know what the acronyms mean. And if you're using those industry-specific acronyms and not really spelling it out in a very fundamental way of what these things really mean, then they might be seeing it and just bouncing off your website to somebody else's that has actually taken the time to explain what those things are. So once again, AP, AR, HR, do they need them? Most likely, but they might not know what they are because they're not as financially savvy as you are, and you want to go to a more elementary level and actually spell it out. The last one is we work with small business, medium business, and not-for-profits. Well, when I come to that side, it's like, who don't you work with? They are working with everybody. They are trying to be a catch-all. And if I have what I feel is a unique problem that's specific to my industry, and you're trying to capture everybody, then I'm moving on, because I don't feel that you might have the expertise to really solve my particular problem. You're more of a generalist as opposed to a specialist. And with most professions, if you look at it, generalists work with a wide, so they know a little about a lot, but they also get paid usually the lowest fees than people that are actually going ahead and deep diving into either a specialty or a niche. And I'm just going to go real quickly. There is a difference between a specialty and a niche. I'm not going into that in the rest of the presentation, but a specialty is what you do. So it's the problem you solve. A niche is who you serve. So that is the difference, even though they're interchangeable, and you can have one or the other or both. I tend to have both. I fix pricing for accounting professionals. So I have a niche and a specialty, but one or the other would start to define you as well.
Well, Lauren, before we get into that, I love that one that says about we help you run your books smarter. Like, what does that really mean? I mean, can you run them dumber? I don't get that. But
Probably.
anyway, yeah, probably.
That's why they're coming to you, is
I
because they already
know.
did that part.
True. So how does the golden rule apply to marketing and communicating your value?
Well, this is really the approach that client-centered firms take, is they realize that they need to have their clients in order to have a business and be operational. And because of that, they are focusing on what's up top of mind to their clients instead of what's top of mind to them. And the very first thing is you want to focus on what is the benefits to someone engaging your services. And that's where you're putting you before me. So you're putting your clients and what the value and the benefits are to them, as opposed to what the value and the benefits are to you of engaging a new client. Focus on how they benefit from engaging your firm's services. And then the second part of, okay, benefits. Well, a lot of benefits have to do with the fact that you have solutions and that you can implement it for them. So part of the things that they care about as far as solutions is not necessary. What are the workflows? What are the processes that you're putting in place? What apps you're using? They want to know, as far as solutions, is if you can help them achieve that faster, better, or easier. By working with you, can you help them get there faster than they can do it themselves? Or can the work be done faster than if they were doing it themselves? The other thing is, maybe can you help them exceed their goals and get even better goals than what they were shooting for? And the other part is easier, because they don't have to figure it out, because they don't have to really understand the numbers and dive into that. You're doing that for them and maybe giving them insights so that they can make better business decisions by having access to you and the consulting part about understanding the numbers and how to apply it for where they're going. Makes it so much easier for them than learning it and reading all the how-tos to be able to make sense out of the numbers. So those are some of the things you want to think about as far as solutions from your client's point of view, is faster, better, easier. And then number 3 is future focused. And this is the sweet spot that really is your highest value, is that the majority of tax and bookkeeping and financials is after the fact when you're looking at the compliance side of it. When you're pairing after the fact work with something that is future focused for them, aspirational, that is the sweet spot that really helps your highest value shine. So you want to understand their goals and their aspirations of what it is that they want to achieve, and then show them how you're able to help them with understanding the numbers and also about applying those numbers. So those are the 3 things to think about as far as the golden rule, is you're putting your clients in what's top of mind for them first, before you're thinking about the fact that you can use another client in order to meet your revenue needs. So think about the benefits, the solutions, and how you can be future focused by focusing and understanding what's top of mind for them. Bill, I think you're actually here.
Is Bill here?
That's me.
Bill
Hey,
is here.
Bill.
So, Bill, who knew this was not planned? But
Oh, look at that, Bill. Hi, Bill.
But Bill, you do a lot of networking, and we talked a little bit about how you can be more focused on really the solutions as opposed to talking about just the compliance side of what you do. Can you share a little bit about maybe how you changed your message or what difference that made for you?
Yeah, sure. So I would go out to networking meetings where we get little elevator pitches. And I would say things like, we can reconcile your bank accounts. And I was talking about the activities that I was doing on a daily basis that made sense to me. But what they were more concerned about, my clients were more concerned about when I changed my messaging, was how is that helping me in my business? Well, I changed my messaging from what I was doing to what I was giving them, which was allowing them to make business decisions in real time, as opposed to waiting to the end of the year and not knowing how much money they've made or what they've spent or where. So I started telling clients, you need to start owning your business as opposed to your business owning you. And what I give you is control and the information to make decisions. And when I stopped talking about reconciling and reporting, and that's the things I did, as opposed to the peace of mind or the feeling that they were going to have working with me, I started landing better clients. Of course, I wanted to know how much it was going to cost and everything I was going to do, but I didn't lead with that.
Excellent. Bill, thank you so much, because you said it so much better than I could have said it myself. I appreciate the sharing.
And Linda says, excellent messaging. So she liked the fact that you were able to kind of turn it around. So that's great.
Anyway, moving forward, Steve.
Okay. So moving forward, we're going to be looking at how to grab attention. But before we do that, we have our next poll question, which is actually a really good one. Do you confidently communicate your value? It's something I struggle with. There's room for improvement. I've mastered my message. Once again, do you confidently communicate your value? It's something I struggle with. There's room for improvement. I've mastered my message. So I like this poll question a lot. And let's see, unless you see a question, Lauren, I have one question that did come in. Any suggestions about how to communicate your value? And I'm sure you're going to go, pretty deep into this one.
But basically, it goes back to that golden rule about really focusing on what's top of mind for them. If you're not sure, start paying attention when you're having initial consults with new clients and listening to the concerns, the worries, the frustrations, what happened, because they're not reaching out to you just because all of a sudden they decided that they wanted to engage your services and go through the whole onboarding, making changes, getting this process started. Something happened that made this a priority that they had to pay attention to. So once again, start really paying attention and then thinking about when they're telling you that particular concern, how do you help them solve it? What's possible? And that's going to give you some insights as to communicating your value. So I think that everybody has answered, Steve.
Okay.
Do you want to share the results?
Absolutely. So do you confidently communicate your value? It's something I struggle with is 40%. There's room for improvement is 60%. I've mastered my message is 0%. Okay.
Perfect.
So 90%, what's that all about, Lauren? Let's talk about the statistic that you put up on the board.
Microsoft, and they have access to a lot of people. They did a very detailed study about potential clients and their buying decisions. And they found that 90% of potential clients really consider the client relationship when deciding which direction to go into, what option would be a best fit for them. So if you're able to really show a potential client about how you're client-centered, how you're there for them, some of the things that make a difference between you versus some other option, then really focusing on them and letting them know that they matter to you, that it's relational, it's not transactional, is going to be something that captures their attention and really sticks with them when they're considering all their options. And basically, it also comes down to the dollar sign. So when clients are looking at someone that might be more client-centered, they're willing to pay more than for having those relationships that might be a more transactional, and you're working with a different person every single time you reach out to that firm.
Well, emotions are obviously very important, but how does this apply to accounting services? Because to me, it just kind of seems like, I don't know, there's a disconnect there somehow. I don't see accounting and emotions coming up, but maybe they do.
Well, think about the fact that money is a touchy subject for most people. So whether you want to realize it or not, you are a financial therapist. So let's just go there because it brings up stuff for people. And you might have some of that stuff for yourself with your own pricing, with your own clients, or pricing with older clients as opposed to new clients. So there's a lot of things around money for most of us. It is a hot topic. And a lot of business owners might have some financial shame when they're first coming to you, that they are embarrassed with the state of their books, or that they really don't understand how tax strategy works and wants to get a better handle on it. But what you really want to do is tap into the worries, the frustrations, really let them know that you understand where they're at. And it's probably a common concern that the majority of your clients have. that they're going to be in good hands. It doesn't mean that you have to buy into their story of why they're having all these financial problems, or that you have to cry along with them, or that having them cry during a session with you is a sign of success and that you tapped into the emotion. That's not what I'm talking about. But you do want to let them know that you understand them and that you have compassion and that you're able to help them remove that frustration and be able to turn things around so that they're able to really move forward and not feel stuck any longer. But once again, when you are able to let them know that you have the compassion, you do care about them, the relationship matters, it's not just transactional, then that is a way of building trust with someone that might be meeting with you for the first time. And the bottom line is, if you've studied sales psychology, and I have studied it in depth, what you want to recognize is that when clients are looking at the best option possible as far as their accounting and tax needs, that they make the decisions based on emotions and then they justify it with logic. So emotions are a very important part of the decision-making process for them. And if they feel like there's a connection with you, then that actually starts to separate you from everybody else that they might be speaking with.
Well, let's talk about the 5 ways to communicate your value.
These are some things you want to think about. It's not just talking about, as Bill was saying, how many transactions are there, how many bank accounts. I'm going to be sending you all of these reports that you really don't understand anyway at the end of each month. What they want to know is that you have the tech stack and the tools to be able to deliver on what they're hiring you to do. That is the service part, that you can service their needs, basically. Number 2 is response, which has to do with communication. When they reach out to you, do you actually respond back to them within a timely manner? Or do they know that you're likely to respond back within this amount of time or this amount of hours, so that they have an understanding of how to best communicate with you and how you're able to communicate back with them? Or communication can also be, if they have a really fundamental question, they can ask you without being embarrassed, that you really get them and you want to help educate them so they are going from financially illiterate to financially savvy. The third part is the knowledge, that you have the expertise, the insight, the qualifications to help them achieve what it is that they want to achieve with their finances and their taxes. Number 4 is quality. Is your firm one that churns out 1,000 tax returns and is so busy that you don't return phone calls? They can never talk to a person. They're going through this extensive phone tree. And so it feels more like it's transactional and you have the factory model in your firm? Or is it more of it high touch concierge services where you know the names of the people that are your clients, that you know a little bit about them, and that there is somewhat of a relationship? Because you don't need the factory model. You're really looking to help each individual, and your clients matter to you when it comes through. So think about the quality. It's similar to flying on a plane. Everybody is on the same plane, but they have a different experience when they're in first class as opposed to business class, as opposed to coach. So think about, is your business set up where you need a lot of coach seats to meet your revenue needs? Or maybe you just need the first class clients to meet your revenue needs. And then there's everything in between. And then the 5th part is price. If you are looking for the factory model, then it's going to be low prices because it's low quality of service. If you're looking more for that first class or concierge model, then you're able to charge higher fees because you're working more closely with your clients on their specific aspirations and goals. So those are the 5 ways to start communicating value. We didn't talk anything about transactions, bank accounts, or reports. We're focusing on the fact that you have the skills, the tools, how you communicate with your clients. So that starts to go into the client relationship. The fact that you have the know-how to be able to deliver on what they're hiring you to do, the quality of the relationship, how client-centered your firm is, and the pricing, which ought to be an investment as opposed to a cost.
And Lauren, I have down here that we do have a resource. Did you want to talk about that?
Actually, the resource I'm going to come to in a couple of minutes.
Okay.
So I appreciate you reminding me about that.
Sure. So what are the 4 elements that you want to include in your marketing message?
Well, some of the things you want to think about, whether this is similar to Bill, where he was doing a lot of networking, or you're going out and posting on social media and you want to stand out, or maybe someone's just asking you what it is that you do and they're coming to your website for the first time. You want to think about these things. First, you want to identify the challenges that clients are having when they're first reaching out to you. What is top of mind? That pain part that we first started out of, what's keeping them up at night? Where do they feel stuck? It's taking time away from other things. So really identify what is the challenges that they have when they first consider reaching out to you. The second part is that I know you don't want to brag about what you do or how great you are or why they ought to be working with you. So you want to come from the place of educating them about the solutions. When you're doing that, it positions you more from that place of giving and being generous. And it's not that you're allowing them to pick your brain. You're just informing them that you understand what's going on and that you have the insights to be able to do that. And you do that by educating them as to what the possible solutions are that you can help them with. The third thing is you want to inform them about the fact that you have the credentials. And even if you don't have a long laundry list of alphabet behind your name, which you don't have to have, first of all, informing them you have the credentials is educating them about the solutions. That's one part of it. But the other part of it might be letting them know about the experience that you have, letting them know why you're qualified to be able to do this for them and solve this problem for them. And sometimes it comes with having the different credentials behind your name, but a lot of times it's more having that street knowledge. You've been doing this for a long time in one particular capacity or another, and that you know how to do this. So I want to say this applies whether you are just new getting started in your firm or whether you have had your firm for a couple of decades now. Just because you are new to having your own business does not mean that you are new to the profession. So do not minimize your expertise simply because you might be a new business owner. And then the fourth part is illuminate. Letting them know that, okay, you understand the challenge, you know the solutions, you have the insights and ability to have them solve that. The illuminating is future focused. Once we're able to get those things in place, whether it's your tax strategy or getting your books up to date so they're accurate and you're getting insights from them, I can now show you how to achieve what it is that you want to achieve because we have insights into accurate numbers and we can go ahead and apply them. So once again, it's illuminating them by working with you. They're able to achieve what it is that they want to do faster, easier, better than if they didn't have you as that resource and that advisor. Okay.
I think this is you.
This is mine, right? I'm going to just continue rolling.
Go for it.
So these are some of the things to think about. That is that future focus thing. The illumination part that your clients highly value is an office expansion sooner than planned. That's exactly what happened with one of my clients. She had a client that was planning to do a build out in about 2 years. Because she was able to help him with the forecasting and the budgeting, they were able to do the build out in 1 year instead of 2 years. That made a significant difference in their revenues, and it was like compounding interest. The next thing is that they're covering their bills on time. So when they're covering their bills on time, that gives them peace of mind. It takes away the shame and the guilt of waiting for this invoice to be paid to go ahead and then cover payroll, which happens a lot of time. The other thing is it avoids them having penalties and interest because of the fact they're not being able to pay off, or maybe they're getting those letters with red stamps of overdue and late notices, which is stressing them out, and they no longer have to have that stress any longer because you're helping them manage their bills. The other thing is reducing their taxes. It might be that they've never paid their quarterlies before. They didn't know how to, so you're helping them set that up. Or that they always filed late, so they were not only paying a tax bill, they were paying crazy penalties on top of it. and they don't have to do that. Or maybe now you're giving them some insights so that they're able to go ahead and start putting some revenues away into 401k or profit sharing for their employees instead of giving that money to their taxes and the government. So you're able to help them, whether it's bookkeeping, enrolled agent, tax preparer, or CPA, on being able to reduce their taxes. And each and every one of you, no matter where you are in the accounting professional, you're all able to contribute to that in your own way. And then the other thing is that you're helping to lighten their workload. Maybe they were doing their own taxes, their own books up until now. They no longer had the capacity. And so by you taking this over, it frees them up to either work more closely with their own clients, their own business development, or maybe it gives them some of their time back. So I just want to say, what is some of the value that your clients get from working with you? And I'm putting that in the chat. Would love to hear, how do your clients benefit from working with you? And the last one I have is eliminating money leaks. Maybe they're overpaying in taxes, so that's one big money leak, or they're paying a lot of finance fees and you're helping them to really lower that, taking charge of their finances and better financial management, or possibly that there are redundancies that they didn't even know about, or subscriptions that they were never using. So those are some of the ways to, and payroll is another way to help them lower money leaks. So those are some of the things that maybe your clients value that you're able to help them achieve. And would love to know in the chat, what are some of the benefits? What are some of the things that are possible because your clients are engaging your services? So Nicole was saying, I save my clients time and stress by acting as a delegation tool for busy business owners. That is fantastic. They can just pass it on to you and they have peace of mind that it's taken care of. So anybody else want to put it in the chat? Linda is like, yes, thumbs up to you, Nicole. She is right there with you. With Rihanna, she is a generalist. So her market was trying to appeal to everybody, being that catch-all. And in the beginning, she was working with a wide range of clients. What we did is we started to really focus on who it is that she works best with and the problems that she solves for them, by really going away from being that catch-all to working with a very specific type of client and really solving a specific type of problem for them. She was able to actually have them see the value of engaging her services because she knew their specific problem and they were paying a higher fee. And for her, she started moving in the direction of restaurants and really helping them to manage their cash flow, especially with the seasonality, as well as looking at the fraud potential because so many of them are cash businesses. As you can see, what she did is we created packages for her restaurant clients. She had silver, gold, and platinum. She's focusing on things that are definitely of high value to them, what's top of mind for them. And as a result of that, she was able to go from putting the kids to bed at the end of the night and going back to do client work, missing out on their soccer games on weekends because she had to do catch up as well because she was dealing with unexpected crises and wasn't managing her calendar, to going down to working just a couple of days a week, having her Fridays back to do Friday activities with them, and also increasing her revenues. So she allows me to share this with you for inspiration, but this is proprietary to Rihanna, so please do not copy it.
Well, the next thing we're going to look at is how to attract quality clients. But before we do that, we have our next poll question. So what describes your firm? Generalized services. We specialize and solve a specific problem. We've developed a niche. We have a niche and a specialty. Once again, which best describes your firm? Generalized services. We specialize and solve a specific problem. We've defined a niche, or we have a niche and also a specialty.
And as I mentioned before, I just want to define the difference between niche and specialty. Niche is who you serve. Specialty is what you do for them. And I just am curious, does anybody have any questions based on what we covered, what's coming up for you, that you wanted to go ahead and ask? You're able to unmute yourself. I have a little bit of time to kind of check in with you or to ask in the chat box. So
Lauren,
Rich
I don't
says
think
you
it-
want to know how to vote.
I don't think the survey popped up yet.
Oh, sorry about that. That is all me. So
It's
there you
all
go.
you.
Thank
There
you,
you
Rich,
go.
for that nudge. I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Good. And I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm not really clear about what my clients value. How can I figure that out?
Okay, so we're talking about what's top of mind for your clients, but maybe you really don't know what that is. What you want to do is actually think about your 2, maybe 3 best clients and schedule a quick conversation with them, like as little as 15 minutes. If you're really there for them, you have a relationship and they love you, they will be happy to answer these questions. But what you want to do during that quick 15-minute conversation is ask them, what was the challenge that you were having or the problem you were dealing with when you first reached out to me? And when they tell you, capture that in their words. You might want to even record the conversation so you can have it transcribed later on. And then after they do that, you want to ask them, what is it that they've seen as a difference of working with your firm and engaging your services? And once again, capture that in their words. And then the third part is because of the fact that they've been working with you and you've been able to help them resolve that challenge that they had, what have they noticed that's different? So those are the 3 things that you want to ask to help understand your client. But I'm going to give you a bonus question that takes courage to ask. The bonus question, because you have their attention, is you just want to ask them if there's anything else that you can do to serve them better or that they've been thinking about and really haven't spoken to you yet. And that's a bonus question because it might feel vulnerable to you to ask them that about your firm, but you might get some insights as to maybe what you can do to really be seen even as a better partner, learn about your client and their needs, or maybe they have something that they've been meaning to talk to you about and they just never have. And this is a way that it might expand the scope of work, as well as if it expands the scope of work, then it expands the client value as well. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this down in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so which describes your firm? Generalized services, 31%. We specialize and solve a specific problem, 46%. We defined a niche, 8%. We have a niche and a specialty is 15%.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great. And Lauren, I know that before we get into the final section where you're going to be discussing how to attract high value clients, I know we have a resource that you just put up on the screen. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, this is going to go into the next section. It is really the cliff notes that go into what I'm talking about so that you can take it and be able to refer back to it later on as you're thinking about fine tuning your messaging in order to really stand out and stop blending in. But if you're looking to attract high value clients, you want to think about what appeals to them is different than what appeals to your price sensitive clients. And this is going to give you some things to think about, get your mind going in order to continue fine tuning your message, because I want to let you know it is an evolution in messaging. It is not one and done, and there's always room for improvement as you gain insights and you really continue to dive deeper into how better connect with your high value clients. Linda said that would be great to have. Thank you, Linda. You are very welcome. Happy to share it.
Well, we're now ready to discuss attracting high value clients. How does confidence fit in?
This was actually something we were talking about earlier today in my mastermind meeting with my accounting professionals that I work closely with. We were talking about the mindset and ownership mentality, and that when you're reaching out to a client, do not be apologetic. I want to let you know that across the board, whether this is in a conversation, this is on your website, what you're doing in social media, at a networking event, when someone is asking you about what you do, you want to really exude confidence. So that means that you have to connect with your value before anybody else can recognize the value that you offer and bring to the table. So confidence attracts. It is very, very kind of attractive. It's sexy when it comes to marketing of any type, whether it's in person, face-to-face, or whether it is virtual. But confidence is very, very attractive. It captures attention and has you stand out.
Well, Lauren, we covered how to fix your message and get attention. Let's dive into the client attraction marketing strategy.
The very first thing you want to think about is, once again, going back to that golden rule of you before me. You want to focus on, in your website, in your postings, in networking events, what's top of mind to them, going back to what Bill was sharing. Don't talk about you and the processes and the tech stack that you have and the reports they're going to get. Focus on what's up top of mind for them. Do they want to do that build out a year sooner than they plan? Are they worried about their tax bill because they haven't been staying on top of their financials and they know that they have a mess as far as their books are going because they haven't done their books all year long and now they have to file? Is it possible that they want to go ahead and take a vacation? They haven't been able to stop working for the last 4 years and they are burning out and they don't feel that they can afford to be able to take any time out for themselves to recharge. So really focus on what's up top of mind for them. It shows that your client's centered, the relationship matters, and that it's not just transactional. The next part that you want to think about is clarity. This is where you're really getting clear about the words that you're choosing to use. You're very intentional, and you're focusing on, once again, the solution you solve for your clients, the solution you offer, as well as who you serve. So once again, think about who is it that you serve? What matters to them? You're going to start to get insights if you talk to those 1 to 3 clients and ask them. It'll give you really some insights as to what to talk about that's going to grab their attention. So focus on the solutions that you offer because of the fact that they're engaging your services, as opposed to the work that you do. The work that you do is important to you. The solutions and what's possible because you know how to do that work is what's important to your clients. So once again, they care more about what you know, not what you do. Oh, the other thing that goes with that is that clients don't want to buy your time. They don't want to rent your time or rent your services, which is what you're selling when you have a fixed or an hourly rate. They want to invest in solutions. So clients invest in solutions. They don't want to rent your time. So why connect your fees to time when really they want to invest in a solution and start to think about it from that point of view? It'll once again start separating you. Credibility without bragging about all the years you've been in the industry or about all the credentials you have behind your name. You want to be able to do this by educating them. And these are some different ways that you might be able to educate them without necessarily even having a one-to-one conversation. It could be done in a passive way, which is great as far as time goes, or it could be done leveraged of one-to-many. So what I'm doing here, where I'm doing a training masterclass, is leveraged as far as my time goes. It's one-to-many. I'm talking to many people at one time, which is what speaking allows you to do. But other ways to be able to do that is by having a blog. Infographics, people are visual. They can see graphs like this that are very brightly colored and easy to read, better than something that is a lot of text. Especially because people skim right now. They're so busy, they don't necessarily read word for word. Talking about your clients and what was possible for them, sharing and doing interviews, ebooks. There's so many, and it could even be a simple social media post that is educational as opposed to, hey, we're open for tax season, call me. Don't do that. That is very, very boring and bland. Everybody's doing that. But look at the fact that, did you know, and then something put it out there that maybe they didn't know. So on the vertical axis of what does a 60 mean? I have no idea because I grabbed this from somebody else, Nicole. So I think I grabbed it from HubSpot, and I might have the link to it as far as it might be effective rate. So I'm going to say it is going to be an effective rate. That is what's coming up to me, is videos are the most effective way to be able to get in front of somebody and how people are, how you build credibility. So I'm going to take an educated guess as to that's what it is. Okay, consistency. This is the fact that I know there are times when you need clients and times when you are maxed out and you have no time for social media. I want to encourage you to look at getting out there as being more of a marathon where you're doing it on a steady basis as opposed to a sprint where sometimes you're going full out and other times you're taking your foot off the gas. The more that you're out there consistently in some way, whether it's a networking event that you're showing up to regularly at the meeting, or whether it's social media and you're posting on a regular basis, the better it is. And I want to let you know, as far as being out there, you want to periodically go out on a diet. You don't need to be at every single networking event. You don't need to be on every single social media platform. You want to choose one, maybe two, that you can show up consistently. So consistently for social media, for me, ideally would be having 2 platforms that you're able to post on daily. And a lot of them you can now schedule posts ahead of time. So it looks like you're posting daily, even though it's being done automatically for you because you pre-scheduled them. So you want to be out there consistently. You can also have someone else posting for you regularly. So doing it on your behalf. And the other part with networking is that you want to have 1, maybe 2 network meetings that you're going to consistently. I found that sometimes I'm going to too many network meetings at a time. I need to be able to look at all the ones I'm doing, look at what is most effective, and go on a networking diet. So don't overextend yourself saying yes to all of them. Just focus on the 1 or 2 that are really going to get you the best results. Okay, challenge is where you want to, and this is the purple cow part of it. So this is like the most important thing. You want to think about how you're going to go ahead and rise above the noise and grab attention. That is the purple cow. So think about what's going to be a purple cow for you. It might be what I call your rant. So what is it that maybe is out there as a common solution, but you know that there's a much better way. And every single time you see someone talking about this solution, it's like, no, don't do that. That is not in your best interest. So think about what's out there that's kind of like mediocre, and you know that there's a better solution and you want to start talking about that. Or every time that you see this and someone doing this, it makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up because you know that they're not going down the best path. It's costly and it's not really to their best benefit. It might even hurt them in the long run. So my rant is about an hourly rate. I feel that charging an hourly rate is creating a tug of war between you and your clients. It is unfair because your clients want you to work as fast as possible to be able to pay as little as possible for your services, whereas you're not incentivized to be more efficient because the faster you work or the more expertise you gain, the lower it is that you're going to earn, even though you have more expertise or that you're able to save someone time because you're just really fast at what you do. So an hourly rate is unfair to you and your clients. It creates a tug of war. And that's where I want to talk about pricing, separating your fees from time, and moving in the direction of packages and value pricing. So some of the rants that my clients have is that friends don't let friends use TurboTax. That's one. And if you are affiliated with TurboTax, just take it for what it is. The other one is that just because you have a QuickBooks download doesn't mean that you're doing bookkeeping. Just because you're using payroll software doesn't mean it's a payroll solution. Steve, I know you had a couple also that you came up with. Can you share what some of those other ones are?
No, actually.
Okay.
So I'm actually focusing on your picture here, and I think that it needs a little bit of explanation. You can't just throw it up on the screen and just not talk about it.
I think that the other one I have is sales is all that matters. So that makes you very transactional, or them very transactional, and cash brings confidence. So that was something else that I had. Oh, anybody can be a bookkeeper if they learn QuickBooks. That was another one that I had. Okay, Christian is just like, you just pained me. Because some of you are fixing other bookkeepers' mistakes. So think about that also. You can go cheap, but it means that you're going to pay the price later on when you have to come back to me and have me clean it all up and get everything where it ought to be. So if you have a rant, go ahead and put that in the chat. I would love to know what your rant is that you want to just go ahead and shout from the rooftops. So with Lane, when she does a lot of networking, she does a lot of things on social media as well as far as her presence goes, and that she was just trying to appeal to everybody. She was focusing once again on the compliance side of what she does instead of the benefits and the solutions. We were able to really dial in who she speaks to, and she has a very specific niche. She works with creatives that are in the entertainment industry. So she's talking with people that are the technicians, that do the lighting, that do the soundboards, that might do set designs. Those are her clients. And once we were able to really dial in who she was talking to, and the fact that she was able to educate them that by working with her, they have a better handle on the finances in their business, which allows them to actually grow at a faster rate. Then she was actually attracting those business-minded, artistic creatives that are in the entertainment industry that really wanted to know their numbers. They just didn't want to do the numbers themselves. And that really made a difference for her. By doing that, she actually, over that year, that first year of us working together, she was able to pay off her car. She paid off all of her credit card debt, and she bought her first home. So think about how that made a difference. She connected with her value. And by doing that, it attracted those high value clients to her that she had the exact solution for and knew how to serve because she knew their industry so well.
Well, what we covered today,
Steve.
Lauren, is fixing your message, attracting high value clients, and grabbing attention. And Lauren, we have our next poll question.
No, we're not doing that poll.
Oh, we're not doing that poll. Never mind.
Nope.
No poll. Shannon said something. I can't read it.
Oh, well, I had the chat here. Nicole said cheaper isn't always actually cheaper or better. TikTok is not a tax expert. That is from Shannon. And then Christian says, if it comes to a bank fee, QuickBooks knows how to categorize it. Are you kidding me? And Shannon also said, if clients know too much, they won't need us. The more they know, the less they want to mess with it, in my experience. So those are some of the things that came through as far as rants. Okay, Steve, let's wrap it up.
Okay. So Lauren, you really shared a lot. I think I say this every time, and I think that now they can get started. But I think that there are some that are ready to get this done, and they don't want to have to figure this out on their own. What do you recommend for our listeners who are ready to attract high value clients now?
Okay. So first of all, I just want to acknowledge, I know that you're busy and that you've taken time away from working in your business, joining us today to work on your business. And I hope that you can take one takeaway that you can implement immediately to really start to be that purple cow, to stand out, no longer blend in, and attract that quality client to you. If you feel that you are ready to actually work with more quality clients, grow your dream firm, have prices that reflect the value of what you offer, then I encourage you to actually have a conversation with me. I put aside some time for a Path to Profit strategy session. It does have a $500 value because it's a dedicated conversation about your firm, but it is complimentary because I actually want to hear what's top of mind for you. If that interests you, go to businesssuccesssolution.com/let's talk. I put that in the chat as well, and we can go ahead and get that set up. Once again, businesssuccesssolution.com/let's talk. I so appreciate you joining me, seeing so many familiar faces here. Thank you so much, and I look forward to further conversations.